Steam curled across the atrium of Cloudberry Spa like phantom silk, carrying hints of bergamot, warmed citrus, and cedar. Jordan Lane moved through it with the unhurried grace of someone who'd memorized the choreography of calm, shoulders loose, elbows soft, palms always half ready to cradle a knot of muscle or smooth a furrowed brow. Tonight was opening night, the culmination of 6 frantic months of construction and whispered buzz. With its glacier-blue walls, birch-wood partitions, and arched skylights, the spa looked as though a Scandinavian daydream had drifted into sleepy Alderglen, Oregon. But instead of admiring the design, Jordan was making last-minute adjustments, testing the basalt stones for the hot stone demo, polishing the copper bowls in the Vichy shower room, clearing stray towels the tour groups kept forgetting. Celine Marchand, the owner, swept past in 4-inch heels, as if the sound of them on tile could itself generate revenue. "Lane, you're on veranda duty at 8. Remember, we're not merely massaging, we're curating sensory transitions. Smile accordingly." Jordan gave a playful salute and pocketed a fresh bottle of lavender oil. Normally lavender anchored her, an aromatic lullaby, but tonight it felt too sweet, too cloying. She chalked it up to nerves. By 7:30, the guest list had swelled, influencers with tripods, aldermen with spouses in tow, wellness bloggers broadcasting live. In the mud sanctuary, Cloudberry's showpiece suite, camera flashes bounced off a floor-to-ceiling mural of snow-heavy pines. The centerpiece, an oval stone tub, lay half-filled with a dark, silky mud imported from Iceland's Blue Lagoon. Heated to body temperature, it was reputed to draw out toxins at the level of cellular memory. Jordan had heard Celine rehearse that line so often she could feel the italics. At 7:45, Selena clinked a champagne flute to corral attention. "In 5 minutes we begin the first ceremonial mud immersion. Our volunteer," she announced, gesturing grandly, "is none other than Portia Bloom." Portia, a lifestyle influencer with 2 million followers, gave the room a queenly wave. She'd arrived swaddled in a cashmere wrap and an aura of entitlement. Earlier, she had tried to tip Jordan to hand-pick the least lumpy mud for her soak. Jordan had smiled, non-committal. While Portia went to change, Jordan prepared the adjunct aromatherapy, 4 ounces of Bulgarian lavender blended with a micro dash of oak moss. She placed the vial on a small cedar table beside the tub. Standard protocol said 10 drops would scent the mud, without throwing off its mineral profile. Celine had insisted on a heavier flourish. "We want a purple dream cloud for the cameras, darling," and Jordan intended to argue, but decided opening night wasn't the hill to die on. Across the suite, Tomas Rivera, the head esthetician, adjusted spotlight angles. His dark ponytail whipped as he turned, eyes rimmed in excitement. "Think the mud's hot enough?" "Precisely 98.6, Jordan replied. "I checked twice." Tomas flashed dimples. "You always do." When Portia re-entered in a white linen robe, the crowd fell quiet. Celine intoned a breathy welcome. A cellist in the corner coaxed a minor chord. Portia stepped to the tub's edge, toes testing the mud. Cameras zoomed, and then, "Hold it!" Portia yelped, jerking back. "It smells like Grandma's perfume shop. Too much lavender." Celine's jaw tightened so fast Jordan heard a molar click. "Apologies, dear. Jordan, adjust." Jordan dipped a ladle, sniffed, and instantly sensed the problem. This wasn't her blend. The lavender note was overbearing, camphorous, almost medicinal. I can dilute it," she offered. "Make it snappy," Portia snapped. Jordan dashed to the sink, dumped half the mud, replaced it with fresh mixture, stirred. The odour mellowed but never quite righted itself. Still, Portia grudgingly climbed in, sinking so the mud lapped her collarbones. Phones recorded her beatific smile. Selene exhaled in relief. The crowd dispersed for canapes. Jordan lingered as Portia settled deeper, her eyes fluttering closed. The influencer's shoulders, normally square with self-importance, wilted into softness. After 2 minutes, Jordan excused herself to prep the veranda demonstration. She glanced back once, Portia's face a study in bliss, ripples pulsing outward. The veranda showcased a panoramic view of the valley, but Jordan couldn't enjoy it. The lavender discrepancy nagged her. The oil supply was kept in a keyed cabinet. Only Selene, Thomas, and Jordan had access. She'd filled the bottle herself. Who'd swapped it, and why? She was halfway through kneading eucalyptus balm into a volunteer's forearm when a scream ricocheted from inside. The sound was raw enough to crack glass. Jordan sprinted, slipping through clusters of startled guests, and burst into the mud sanctuary. Thomas stood frozen, spotlight casting his shadow onto the pine mural. Selene knelt at the tub, arms buried to the elbows in sludge. The cellist's bow hung suspended mid-note. Portia Bloom lay face down, submerged. Jordan shoved through, seized Portia's shoulders, and heaved. Mud cascaded in thick ribbons. Lavender stung Jordan's eyes. She cleared Portia's airway. No response. Chest compressions were impossible. The viscous film sealed over every push. Somewhere, someone called 911. By the time paramedics arrived, the verdict was swift. Death by drowning, perhaps minutes earlier. Opening night dissolved into blue and red strobes, sobbing, and the sour truth that Cloudberry's public debut would be an obituary. Detective Iris Riley took command, angular in wool slacks and an expression carved from basalt. She closed the mud sanctuary and funneled witnesses into treatment rooms for statements. Jordan, still streaked with mud, answered calmly until Riley asked about the lavender. "My blend was swapped," Jordan said. "Someone used a stronger solution. It had camphor undertones, almost like a sedative." Riley arched an eyebrow. "You suggesting the victim was drugged?" "I don't know," Jordan admitted, "but lavender in high concentration can lower blood pressure, induce dizziness. In warm mud it could multiply the effect. If Portia nodded off, or was pushed under," Riley finished. The detective collected the vial Jordan had originally prepared. The adulterated bottle was gone. At 2 a.m. the spa was taped off, guests dismissed, staff instructed to remain available. Jordan drove home, showered scalding water until it ran clear, and lay awake replaying the scene. Portia's contented sigh, the unnatural lavender fug, the way the mud had sealed her thrashing, if she'd even thrashed at all. One detail surfaced. When Jordan left the suite earlier, Thomas had stayed behind to tweak the lights. And Thomas also held a key to the oil cabinet. Yet Jordan felt no malice in Thomas, only theatrical flair. Still, instinct and friendship were poor substitutes for proof. Morning brought drizzle thick as soup. Jordan reported to the spa, now ghost quiet under police guard. Selene was in her office, dictating frantic emails to lawyers and PR firms. She waved Jordan in. "Can you believe this nightmare?" Selene's voice trembled. "We're ruined. Refunds, lawsuits, and the investors. Portia's endorsement was half our marketing plan." Jordan perched on the edge of a velvet chair. "You, Thomas, and I had cabinet keys. Did you open it last night?" Selene rubbed her temples. "Briefly, around 6. I checked inventory, then locked it." "Why?" "What about Thomas?" He said he grabbed extra lemongrass oil at 7. Look, Jordan, if you suspect staff sabotage, tell Detective Riley, not me. Jordan left before she said something unprofessional. She found Thomas in the bamboo courtyard, sitting under an eave as rain drummed the shingles. Hard to promote exfoliation when your brand is death, he muttered. His eyes were bloodshot. Guilt? Grief? Jordan couldn't tell. She tried a gentle tone. Did you swap my lavender? Thomas recoiled. What? No, I never touched your blend. He hesitated. I got lemongrass, yes, but I forgot to relock the cabinet. Anyone could have accessed it after. Anyone like who? All guests were in the atrium for the toast. Thomas shrugged helplessly. Detective Riley interrupted, summoning Jordan. In an examination lab across town, the coroner's preliminary report awaited. Portia's lungs held mud, yes, but also a small residue of pure lavender essential oil. Blood tests showed linalool levels 10 times normal, enough to sync heart rate and breathing. She'd likely drifted unconscious before drowning. Poison by relaxation, Riley said. Neat trick. But murder still required intent. Riley outlined their working theory. Someone tampered with the oil, counted on Portia's vanity to demand a potent scent, and knew she'd slip under unattended. Opportunity was narrow, requiring access and timing. Staff were prime suspects, motive still foggy. Jordan asked to view the security footage. Riley allowed it on the condition she share insights. Cloudberry's cameras captured wide angles, lobby, corridors, veranda entrance, but inside treatment suites, privacy rules forbade recording. Footage showed Thomas approaching the supply room at 7:02, lugging a crate. He exited 90 seconds later. At 7:15, Celine passed the same door, talking on Bluetooth, never entering. At 7:27, a figure in a chef's jacket entered supply. Mei Chen, Cloudberry's nutritionist, who'd spent the night circulating hors d'oeuvres. She emerged at 7:30, carrying a tray of miniature acai parfaits. The lavender switch could have occurred during any of these windows. Jordan's gut whispered May. The chef had access to dozens of botanicals for teas and tinctures. If anyone understood essential oil potency, it was her. Yet motive, what did May stand to gain? Unless Portia's social media reach could make or break a business. Maybe May feared a bad review of her cuisine. Ridiculous. Back at Cloudberry, in the employees' lounge, Jordan found May piping matcha cream onto puff pastries, eyes puffed from crying. Jordan offered chamomile tea and eased into conversation. This isn't just tragic, May said, voice quivering. It's personal. Portia Bloom once ruined my cousin's cafe with a scathing post about rancid turmeric lattes. Foot traffic tanked 70%. Jordan's pulse ticked upward. You knew Portia was our headliner. Everyone knew. Her face was on half the invites. Did you enter the supply room yesterday? May tensed. I got a new bottle of yuzu extract for the sorbet. Why? The lavender used in the mud had a medical-grade potency. Chefs sometimes stock that grade for desserts. Lavender shortbread, for example. May's cheeks flushed. Are you accusing me? I'm asking, Jordan said gently, because if you didn't do it, we need to eliminate any doubts before the detective digs deeper. May swallowed. I swear on my Santoku I never touched the lavender. Yes, I hate Portia for what she did to my cousin, but murder... Jordan, come on. Jordan believed her. May expressed anger, but not calculation. Furthermore, May's tall figure in a white chef's coat would have been noticed if she'd lingered near the mud sanctuary. Jordan's thoughts returned to Thomas. He alone had stayed inside the suite with Portia when Jordan left. Had the allure of killing been spontaneous? No. Oil had been swapped earlier. What if Tomas had accomplice-level timing? He knew Jordan's schedule, Celine's mania, Portia's vanity. But once again motive eluded her, until she recalled whispered gossip among staff. Tomas and Portia had dated briefly last year after she booked a facial at his previous spa in LA. The fling ended with Portia blasting him online, painting him as a clingy micromanager of pores. Tomas lost clientele and relocated to Alder Glen seeking fresh start. Jordan confronted Tomas after closing hours. Rain had lifted, leaving earth damp, air tasting of moss. "You dated Portia," she stated. He stiffened. "Old news. Old news that cost you your reputation." Tomas exhaled, fogging the cold air. "She threatened to expose private messages. I broke up with her. She spun it. You had incentive." He met her gaze, eyes welling. "Incentive to hate her, yes. But kill her. I came here to rebuild. If I wanted revenge, I'd have published her unfiltered selfies, scarier than murder." Jordan almost smiled, but guilt nudged. Was she dismissing the obvious? She asked about the cabinet again. Tomas closed his eyes, searching memory. "I'm certain I relocked it, but the latch is wonky. You have to jiggle left, then right. Maybe I botched it." Jordan remembered something. When she'd first opened the cabinet a week ago, the latch scraped metal. She'd told maintenance, who promised to fix it. Yesterday, when Jordan accessed her lavender, the latch felt smooth, newly replaced. Who'd request that? Celine. Presentation freak, she'd want flawless cabinets. A maintenance order would pass through her. Jordan marched to Celine's office, where the owner was pacing on a Bluetooth call. She ended it when Jordan barged in. "What now? Insurance vultures?" Jordan folded arms. "You replaced the cabinet latch yesterday. That means you had locksmiths in. Did you get new keys?" Celine's face went porcelain still. "Standard procedure. One for me, one for Tomas, one for you." "And the old originals?" "Destroyed. So no spares float around." Jordan took a breath. "That limits access to 3. Detective Riley knows this?" Celine's silence answered. Jordan pressed on. "You needed Portia's endorsement, but Portia's contract had stipulations. Right of approval over photos, a 15% revenue cut. If she renegotiated tonight, you'd hemorrhage profits. Did she threaten that?" Celine's lips thinned. "Portia wanted an equity stake, 10% ownership for one Instagram reel. I told her to sign our original deal or find another spa. She laughed in my face. Said she'd leave midway through the event, tweet that our mud smelled like barnyards." Jordan felt a chill that had nothing to do with rain. "You decided no endorsement was better than a bad one." Celine scoffed. "I'm ambitious, not homicidal." "But you had means. Swap the oil, stage an accident, blame staff error. Insurance covers losses. You relaunch with a tragedy heater narrative about resilience." Celine's eyes flashed. "You're out of line." Jordan moved toward the door. "Then explain your missing lavender vial. The one police can't locate. Did you tuck it in your designer purse?" Celine lunged, slamming the door. "You think I won't defend my reputation?" Jordan's heart pounded, but training kicked in. Slow breath, relaxed jaw. She spoke levelly. "I think you murdered Portia, and I think you're about to assault a witness, compounding your crimes." From behind Jordan came a calm voice. "Step back, Ms. Marchand." Detective Riley stood in the hallway, pistol holstered but hand ready. She'd been recording. Celine's shoulders sagged, the fight drained. She whispered, "It wasn't supposed to go that far." just sleepy, not dead. I thought. Mud's supervisors watch guests. Riley took Celine into custody. Throughout the booking, the owner maintained she only wished to teach Portia a lesson. She'd pre-ordered pharmaceutical-grade lavender off the darknet, swapped labels, and poured half a vial into the mud while checking spotlight reflections. She counted on the spa's schedule, ensuring attendance nearby. But Jordan's departure and the crowd's dispersal sealed Portia's fate. 2 weeks later, Cloudberry Spa reopened under interim management. The media circus had mellowed from fury to fascination. Lavender Killer CEO made gripping headlines. Yet spa enthusiasts remained curious, scheduling treatments out of morbid novelty. Jordan considered quitting, but Thomas convinced her the best tribute to Portia, however complicated, was to maintain the sanctuary's original goal: healing. On reopening day, Jordan performed a deep tissue massage on a retired carpenter. She listened to the metronome of his breathing, the quiet heat of basalt stones against his spine. Not every touch had to carry a sinister echo. Some could still undo knots, coax peace, persuade a weary man that the world for 60 minutes was gentle. After her shift, Jordan stepped onto the veranda. The valley glowed, damp evergreens releasing petrichor. From inside drifted a faint wisp of lavender, her own careful blend, 10 drops exactly. This time the scent calmed rather than cloyed, a reminder that even in the wake of violence, one could choose proportion, patience, and grace.